Hello and welcome to the Morale Project. I'm your host, Senior Master Sergeant Cynthia Limoges, Human Resource Advisor for the Rhode Island Air National Guard. And welcome to today's topic, mentorship. So I feel like mentorship is such an important topic. Growing up, I previously mentioned that I was active duty Air Force Reserves, and now in our wonderful Rhode Island Air National Guard. I had awesome mentors along the way, one including Chief Master Sergeant Baltazar, who's retired. But today I have a special guest, Tech Sergeant Sharae Hall. Hi, Sergeant Hall.
Hello, everyone.
And so we're going to kind of talk a lot about mentorship. So, Sergeant Hall, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I graduated from Providence College, and then right after there, I went to the military in 2014. I'm coming up on 7 years in March. I love basketball. I used to play, and now to stay connected with it, I referee high school basketball as well as AAU. Very close with my family, my community, and I'm just like a very happy person all the time, and just trying to, very goal-oriented and just trying to keep the positivity alive.
That's really awesome. I hear a lot of positive feedback about your personality and how, just the positive aura you bring with you. And I think the day that we were out in the gate, or in front of the gate, we were passing out that, the swag, remember that?
Yes.
And I could see you interacting at like 0600 in the morning with this smile on your face, so that was really awesome to see. So when we talk about mentorship, tell me about your community, first of all. I want to hear you talked about working a lot in your community.
Okay, so where I'm from Chad Brown. I don't know if anyone knows it.
Yeah,
it's in Providence. It was a very rough neighborhood to grow up in. My mom really didn't let me go outside. I was kind of sheltered because it was pretty bad out there. But I just knew young that I wouldn't become like a product of my community. So that's what I had to drive me to this where I am today. There were definitely shootings that happened over there. But just to know, like, I wasn't even the only one. Like, I had a lot of friends that was also like me. One of my friends graduated and she became a lawyer. So, like, I definitely have a very good surrounding and chose good friends to keep connected with, just to see where we would go, you know?
Yeah, that is so awesome to hear, and I'm very grateful to definitely hear your perspective on mentorship. So let's just dive into it, huh? So when we talk about mentorship, tell me, what does mentorship mean to you?
Mentorship, I kind of think of leadership. So I would advise and kind of train people, or people who have done to me. You know, like they're trying to guide me to a better way of maybe doing something or getting into positive activities. But really, mentorship can be done by anyone in a position of experience. So you literally don't have to be a leader to do mentorship. Mm-hmm. If you have experience in whatever topic that somebody is interested in, you can be that mentor and help them to gravitate to where they're going to be or want to be.
Yeah, you bring up such valid points, and I know being activated for COVID response here in Rhode Island, I myself had the opportunity to learn a lot from younger enlisted folks, and it kind of reminds me of that, and you bring a valid point. What are some examples of ideal mentorship to you, for in your opinion?
Ideal mentorship, I would say to have somebody kind of like in your corner that is just guiding you to, like, say if my goal is to become, like, my goal was to become a fire team leader, and I did let my unit know that, so they kind of gave me somebody that would teach me, like, hey, this is where, these are the goals that you have to reach to get here. And so they gave me the materials that I needed to accomplish, and they also motivated me on the way also. So that was very big for me. But also to know the person that you're mentoring. Everybody doesn't learn the same. So maybe knowing like, hey, maybe this person needs more directives. Like they need me to be on top of them. So that's how they can gravitate to the best level. Or maybe they need me to lay back a little bit. Or maybe delegation. You can delegate tasks to them and make them feel more empowered. So it means like a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But really, it's just how you know that person, and then how you interpret it. Like, so how you're gonna help them gravitate to the best position that they're trying to get in.
So it sounds like connection, right? Like you have to build this connection with someone.
Yes.
To be able to mentor them. Is that what you're?
That's the number one key right there, and I know that's what I'm great at. So I'm also a social worker.
Nice.
So I know one of my biggest attributes is connecting with people. I don't know why, but I definitely connect with the younger community the most. I also teach parenting skills. However, I don't have a kid. So that's kind of why I don't really connect too well with the older people, because I guess they don't want somebody that doesn't have kids to tell them how to parent their kids. So I get it. But yeah, I try to learn the person, and find out what motivates them, and just try to use those things to get them where they need to be.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued by the community you serve. I think connection is key in mentorship for sure. So I want to dive into your experience in the community. I want to hear all about the mentorship you've done in the community, real and raw.
All right. So I'm very happy to say, like this past year, me and my dad, we got together and we got with somebody that would donate a whole bunch of food, and we went back to Chad Brown and we gave out boxes of food to like the less than fortunate. There was some people that I still knew, that when I grew up there, they were still there. They were very happy to see me, always a smiling face. There were some people where we had to like walk and maybe carry the boxes and bring them to their house. But when you see like the gratitude on these people's faces, it just makes it all worthwhile. We're actually looking to do that again, and in maybe other communities around Providence, the Providence area.
Yeah.
Also, I always get asked, my mom works for the school department, so she works at Robert Bailey, and they always call me in to speak to the kids about being in the military and different aspects of that, because these little kids, like I wasn't exposed young. I didn't know nothing about the military until after college.
Wow.
So I know that there's definitely a big deficit in that, and to start them off, I would. It's great that I get to talk to like second graders, third graders about other opportunities that they have.
Yeah. What's their feedback? Like their little eyes are looking at you.
Well, first of all, when I walk in, they're all staring, and they're all their big eyes, bubbly eyes, and they want to come up and they give me hugs.
Oh, wow.
And they're supposed to be in line, and then they're just so excited they get out of line, and yeah, they have tons of questions. And I think these young minds are the minds that we should be molding.
Yeah. That's great. That's great to hear that. And little do you know that oftentimes it's those small appearances that have such an impact on not only just the community, but being there representing the Rhode Island National Guard, our family, right?
Yes, and even when they see me, like I mentioned, I do basketball too. I've had these kids see me outside of their school, and they would come up to me and like, "Hey, I seen you. You was at my class. Like you was talking to us. How's that going? And how do I do that? I want to be just like you." They see that I'm a female minority, so they're like, "Oh, well, how did you get to that position?" Because they don't normally, maybe their family members wasn't as fortunate as me. But now that they're seeing me, maybe they can know that they can do it also.
Yeah, I think that's so impressive. And I know you talk about like the basketball community. That's a well-connected community. Tell me about those experiences when it comes to connecting and mentorship in that field.
Oh, yeah. So I think I started basketball around 2018, but I had a little breaks because of the deployments and the COVID activations and stuff like that. So I would say altogether, I'm going on like maybe a year of reffing. But it seems like a lifetime to me. I started off and I had like, they call it biddy ball, and it's like 5-year-olds, and I walked in and the whole team would just come and run to me. They're just happy that I'm there refereeing. And just this year, my first game actually, I had some girls come up to me. I think it was Pais, the school in Providence, and they, after the game, they was just like, they lost too, so they were still happy to say, hey, like, what do you think we could do better? And like, it's really nice to see like a female and like a black female over here, like, how do you get into that stuff? And they was just like, I want you to do more of my games.
Wow.
They was just, they felt represented, I would say.
Yeah.
So.
And so you bring up a valid point. So I know we talk, like, for me personally, my message as a human resource advisor, or the D&I practitioner, as I call myself, right? Diversity, when I talk about diversity, I don't just talk about like culturally, like us women, minorities, you know, I that's a cultural aspect of it, right? I like to talk about on a human level. And that includes your life experiences, right? So your community, bring that in. Mm-hmm. And then not only do you have these other things in there, like you're a minority and woman, like, this is huge for your community to see, like, wow, she's doing it, I can do it, right?
Yes. I mean, also another community that I'm a part of, the LGBT community, that we bring that to the table too. I don't know if you could tell when I'm in my uniform, but like, yeah, if I'm not in uniform, I have tattoos, but then I have my nails painted, like, I don't know, maybe I'm a big walking question mark, but but hey, who knows? Like, it goes to show you, like, you could come through any walk of life and still you're human. You be that, you know, like that person that can do whatever you want. And I think that to get there though, you need the proper guidance. Like, I didn't get there by myself at all. I've had mentors in the past. I think I had mentors for different things. Like, for the military, I have Sergeant Koenig. He helps me a lot. He asked me when I first came in, like, what do you want to do? And honestly, I didn't even know my options. I didn't even know what AGR was. Maybe if I knew what that was before, then I would have went out before. But that's okay. That's why I learned from those things. So now, when new recruits come in, I'm like, hey, look at all these options that you have. You know, I want to give them all the information that they need so they can make the best informed choice. Mm-hmm. But I also have a mentor for basketball. His name is Mike Dakotas. But what I think it was my first game, he was like, hey, I never seen you before. Like, what are you doing here? And then he just took me underneath his wing. He's like, usually we have mentees, and hey, if you don't have one, I will be yours. And then he was like, I'm going to make the call right away because I want you. And maybe he saw something in me. I don't know what it was, but he's been guiding me the whole way, and it's been so helpful with all my, you know, I got to work on my mechanics and stuff like that, and he's just been, like, totally helpful. Even in my personal life, like, you know, you have that go-to friend where they have maybe more experience than you, so they're helping, guiding you with that. Mm-hmm. I know here too at the military, John has been from public affairs. We just met when he was doing a Airman Spotlight report on me, but ever since, he's been trying to help me so much to find, like, the best job. You know, like, it really seems to me like he has my best interests at heart, and he's always giving me, like, helping me network. He has all these connections that he's putting me on with, and it's just a great experience, and I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And I'm grateful to hear that having mentorship in all aspects of your life is so important, because you're right. You know, we have different goals, and life is so tricky. It changes constantly, you know. And I feel like you're a wealth of knowledge and experience in life and military, and bring so much to the table. What would you suggest to our youth? Let's start with youth, like our younger enlisted. And then we'll go from there to our junior enlisted, like our tech sergeants. And then let's start there. And then I'll go further.
So for the younger people, I know it's when I first joined, I was scared. I don't want to make eye contact with nobody. I just don't want to talk. I would challenge them to come out of their shell. Yeah. Try to find somebody who you think maybe mirrors what you want to be or where you want to go, and just build up the courage to go and talk to them, feel them out, and see if that's the kind of vibe that you like. If it is, then say, hey, I like what you do. Can you help me get to where you are? Yeah. And then for junior enlisted, I would say so I'm a tech sergeant. I guess I'm in that realm right now. I'm so outgoing, so I'm going after the little kids, the recruits. So I like to I get a team. I have a team right now of 4 members, and I just make it a point to hey, tell me about yourself. And I always want to know every month, even though I'm not there at drill. I haven't been in drill for a year now, but I still text them and I'm hey, tell me one thing that happened during the month, so I can still keep up with them. Really just try to know who your recruits are, know what motivates them, know where they want to get, so that you could be that mentor for them. And then for the seniors, I would say, even as a tech sergeant, you're still kind of scared of senior members. Maybe they just look standoffish. Maybe they're not, but they just maybe have that face where you just don't want to go up to them.
That's the command face.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. But maybe, I know they have an open door policy, but just maybe going to more events, maybe holding more events, really talking to the younger enlisted, or maybe guiding the junior NCOs on how to guide their troops, or even have them tell them about your troops. That would make sure that the whole line is being done. So if the seniors go to the juniors and be hey, tell me about your team, and if somebody doesn't know, you know that they're not doing their job. Yeah. But that gives them the information that they need to know, and it helps out everybody. And then you would think hey, maybe that could bridge the gap right there.
Yeah. And you bring up such a valid point, because that was my one of my other questions that I was going to present to you. I'm a senior leader. I know that a lot of my successes were as a result of good mentorship, right? And so I feel as senior leaders, we're missing the mark. And I try to explore why. Why are we missing the mark? Where's that disconnect? So I'm grateful for your feedback. Do you have any suggestions that we can be more, or find more ways to connect?
I would say definitely with events, maybe. You just have to get those events, but then you have to actually talk to these people, see what they want, and then if you can help in any way. I know that first it's being seen, but then if you can actually, I think we call it in social work a quick intervention. If you could do something really quickly with them, it builds the relationship. That's your start of a relationship, and they think that, hey, these people care about me. So yeah, maybe I want to work harder, and I have somebody that actually believes in me. So it kind of makes the whole system a little bit better. You get to know your people, and they have faith in you. So maybe you'll definitely have better troops for tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a great, I think about that as for myself as a senior leader. And my goal, I have to admit, the past year has been less talk and more action.
Yes.
Because I found myself in that rut as a senior leader, doing a lot of talking and no action. So I made it a goal, actually it was 2021, I made it a goal to just do it. I feel like the Nike commercial.
Yes.
It's not my brand, right? In other words, I'm not the one that made up the the comment, just do it, or the quote, just do it. But I feel like that was my goal as a senior leader, just to do that, take action and stop talking.
And maybe I feel like breaking down barriers, maybe make yourself more relatable to the person. Share some experiences with them. Like, hey, I wasn't always like a great person. I mess up still to this day. You know, like when I first came in, I always had a problem with time. So I was always late, and then I got some paperwork because I was late too many times, you know, like, so maybe share some of those experiences with them so they know that you're a human too.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even in your personal life, like, hey, like, maybe something happened to you when you were younger, and this is how I got out of it, and this is how I grew from it. All those connections make people closer.
Right, like a family.
Yes.
Because
that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. One big Rhode Island.
That's why I stay here, because I do feel like I have a family.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So, what are some recommendations? I mean, I've been thinking about like this speed mentorship event. You know, like we have speed dating. I've never done speed dating before, but like I know Chief Master Sergeant Hart, who's retired now, did this speed mentorship event, and I've been thinking about it. But what are some recommendations you have, if you think of any?
Oh no, I really like that idea. So with that being said, I would probably get some really good open-ended questions.
Yeah.
So, but that urge the people to become connected. You know what I mean? To have both of them come out of their shells, and maybe they can find like a common ground, and that might be like what you need to continue that relationship.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really love hearing that. You know, that because you're right, connect, and I've been saying this, connection is key. It really is. And asking questions. Do you notice we're so afraid to ask questions sometimes?
Oh, always. Yeah.
Any other advice or suggestions that you have regarding mentorship, or anything that's impacted your life that you want to share with us?
Well, I know, like, I'm a big, like, family type person, and I have my friends and everything like that. I know that my friends, they look up to me. I know that it's good and it's bad. It's like, it keeps me on my toes because I know, like, hey, I have to do good for these people, you know what I mean? But then it's also down because I'm like, dang, I can't mess up, because then they're going to see that I messed up, and they're going to know that, hey, I'm human too. But I think it's very big for me, like, how I set the standard for my friends. I kind of love it. Even in like a relationship or the success that I have in my career, I'm happy that I'm able to set that example for them and kind of be their cheerleader also. Like, hey, maybe making recommendations for them, or just cheering them on with things that they do and being there for them when they need me. Mm-hmm. That type of mentorship matters too.
Yeah. You know what else I was thinking of too when you were talking is like follow through. How important is follow through, right?
Follow through is everything. Anybody can say whatever they want, but if you don't follow through, I will never believe you.
Yeah.
You have to do it every time. That's actually one of my biggest things. It's maybe one of my pet peeves. If people don't have follow through, it's like, it's kind of like a waste of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people will get there. Some people will maybe not do something, just don't give up on them right away. You know, like, give them a few chances. But definitely as a mentor, you need to follow through every time.
Yeah, that's so important. Well, I'm so grateful you're here with us today. I'm so excited to hear from you. And again, mentorship is a huge part of our military community. You know, we're just trying to build that gap that we've missed. You know, and I don't want to just call out our senior leaders. It isn't just our senior leaders, it's all across the board, right? We're missing the connection somewhere. And so I'm grateful that you're here to share some experiences.
Yeah. So one thing I think when you just said that, I think I just thought of. So I think it's a little hard for the senior leadership because we're only here like 1 week in a month. Mm-hmm. However, but what the young recruits could do is volunteer for certain things. Like I volunteered to go on deployment. I volunteered for the thing that we was doing in New Jersey. with the
The
refugees,
refugees, right.
the COVID stuff. That was another way for me to gain connections and maybe mentors and mentees. You know, like getting involved. Everybody has to try to get involved, and that's how you maybe like get a better network and, you know, meet new people. I've met so many different people, and now I think pretty much every state that I go to, I can literally call one person that knows me, and I can connect with them.
Yeah, and then we have the Rising Six. I think that's a new group that is here at Quonset that's coming up. I just got that. I saw the email a few weeks ago. So you're right. Organizations that are here at Quonset that our folks can plug into.
Yes.
But I always say, this is always my caveat to everyone, Army, Air, doesn't matter, we're all family. I say, at the end of the day, we can be mentored left and right, but it is our responsibility to keep ourselves current and marketable, right?
Yes.
Always. And it's always good to have that person to push you along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much, Sergeant Hall, Sharae Hall. I'm so grateful to have you here. And thank you, folks, for tuning in to the Morale Project. I look forward to you tuning in next time.
Thank you.
The Morale Project.